Libra, welcome to your February 2021 astrology and tarot reading. So Libra, we have a very significant stellium of planets in Aquarius, and good news for you, this is in your sector of creation, art, love, joy, passion, pleasure. So you have a lot of energy occupying that sector, which means that is a very dominant energy. We also have Mars and Uranus still in your sector of intimacy. So there is a lot of onus on the energy surrounding your relationships. At the same time, we still have Chiron moving through your 7th house of partnerships, which is not provoking, but it is helping you work through some wounds as they may relate to you in your longer term relationships, or your concept of what partnership means to you. And it can be really working through some attachment style issues, or how you relate to a partner on a fundamental level. Chiron's the wounded healer, so that's something going on in the background. But this month is shining a lot of joy on love for you, particularly if you're looking to attract love. So we work with the new moons a lot on this channel. If you're looking to attract love, or you're looking to attract having a child, having a baby, or if you're looking to be more artistic, or you're looking for some development in your creative profession, or you're looking to create something, or you're looking to enhance a hobby, the new moon in February in Aquarius is going to be a very delightful time for you to set those intentions, to plant those seeds, and to take the first step. And the first step obviously always begins with a thought. So Venus is going to be there. Venus in the 5th house is a really beautiful energy, and Venus is your ruler. So when it's in the 5th house, you can attract love. You can really feel romantic vibes in a relationship. The 5th house to me is kind of like as close as you can get to a movie. There's glamour there. There is fun there. There is beauty there. There is a lot of passion there. So to have this amount of planets, you'll never have this again. You're not going to. You're going to find that February is a month that can really cast some amazing tones and shades over your romantic life, your creative life, and just having fun, having joy, and having opportunities for these things. Regardless of your situation in the world, these feelings can find you. This energy can find you. And I think, especially for Libra rising that has had such heavy energy in the 4th house, which is a lot to do with the past, this energy is going to springboard you forward. You're just going to want to feel excited about life, feel passionate about life again. And even with Saturn there in the picture, Saturn's the very beginning of the house. Saturn's just kind of coming up a bit slower to watch what everybody else is doing first, to see what Venus is doing, to see what Jupiter is doing, the sun, what are the tones, what are the energies. And Saturn's coming behind in your fun sector, just making sure that as much fun as you have, there's still an element of discipline there. So it's not a bad thing. But let's have a little look and see what your cards have to say. The clash, right off the bat, some of you are in a relationship with an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the 8 of Pentacles. This could be someone you study with, someone you work with, someone you have shared goals with, common interests. Some of you could be taking a relationship with an earth sign to the next level. Interestingly, in Capricorns, this was kind of a theme with a Libra too. It was in the extended. Interesting. For a lot of you, this is actually not even romantic. This is just saying you're finding a passion or a hobby, or you're starting a business, or you're starting a course, you're learning something, you're learning a skill for yourself, a hobby, a creative passion, and you're feeling a lot of love for it, and it's sparking something in you. Okay, so Libra. Okay, another thing, Temperance and the Hanging Man. There is a lot of healing going on in the background with Chiron, as I said. With Uranus being in your sector of the 8th house, sometimes you have these flashes of insight into your primal fears. sometimes when Uranus is transiting the 8th house, you can actually experience very random painful thoughts, or you can experience very random unwelcome thoughts. And for a lot of you, you know, what we ignore kind of persists in life. So if you're experiencing feelings of fear or upset or jealousy, for example, can be an 8th house feeling that's very common. So take that as a keyword. If you're experiencing feelings like this, let them come to the surface with you personally. Sit with them yourself. You know, it's not anybody else's responsibility, but if you work through this with a professional, or for example, that's a good thing too. But sitting with your feelings sometimes and just leaning into them and asking, why am I feeling this way? Or where do I think this is coming from, is a lot more productive than acting on it. So if you're finding like there's some feelings coming up for you that can feel kind of painful or upsetting, obviously if they're extreme, that's something you have to get help with. But if it's something that is just sort of coming up as a discomfort, an emotional discomfort, it feels like maybe sitting with the feeling rather than acting on it is very important, okay? Because let's not forget, Mercury is in retrograde, and I want to get to that as well. Because if you have an ex who is a Sagittarius or a Pisces, can be Sun, Moon, or Rising, Mercury retrograde could bring that back around. 9 of Wands, especially if you were quite close to just letting that one go. But Mercury retrograde in the 5th, that can bring all the exes to the yard if they're people who, you know, you dated for a little while, or you know, that can, it can bring back past romances, I have to say, when it's in the 5th house. But more so than not, it can actually just give you that little mental spark to reevaluate the past relationships and, you know, see what your part was in, see if you're happy with what your part was, what part you played, if you feel anything about that, how that makes you feel. Sometimes it's just reevaluation rather than literal, because sometimes Mercury retrograde in the 5th can be dreaming of old lovers. Sometimes it can be having reoccurring anxiety dreams about pregnancy. You know, you could dream you have triplets on the way, not even be in a relationship. So, Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, 5 of Swords, there's a lot of swords, finally some wands, 5 of Wands, and the 3 of Swords. So Libra, you're addressing a pain body, okay? Interesting. For some of you, I have to say, Mercury retrograde is maybe pulling up a little bit of past pain. There might be somebody you never got over, or there might be just this fear of things happening again in a relationship, okay? So it could be to do, I have to say, it could be to do with a water sign, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. But some of you, like, this is good. This is good. The astrology is good. So stay with me, because this does not donate what you think it donates. There's a potential this month for fights with new bae or your partner over things that are unnecessary. Because that's just Mercury retrograde. There can be communication trickiness. There can be conversations go awry, so don't worry about that. But I do see a little bit of conflict. And the 3 of Swords is most commonly a card of misunderstandings. So don't be so concerned with that just yet. I do think for some of you that if you're not in a relationship, the exaggeration of 5th house energy could leave you to feel like you really want that. It could lead you to feel like you really want somebody. And the interesting point that I want to make about February is the Aquarian energy, your romantic energy, your heart space is actually starting to harmonize rather than clash as it has been doing in the past few years. It's starting to harmonize with the wounded healer. And so you're actually experiencing a little bit of hurt to make you love better. So with the 3 of Swords, if you're into the chakra system and you think about your heart chakra, so you feel it in your heart space, sometimes the heart chakra, whenever we have been very hurt before, whenever you've been in a place of pain, you've maybe had your heart broken, you've maybe been very disappointed, you maybe were abandoned, you maybe felt unworthy. If you have that sort of energy, a lot of the time what people do is they shut their heart chakra, they shut their heart down. They try and close it off to stop energy getting in because it's vulnerable. The difficulty with that is that the poison gets locked in, the feelings get locked in, and you keep it frozen where it was, and it's very hard to heal when you shut the heart down. So whenever you've been through pain, it's best to start working through it anyway and lean into it. When you feel upset about something and you're not quite sure what it is, for example, say you enter a new relationship and all of a sudden you start having these feelings come up and you're thinking, well, why when I'm on my own am I starting to feel very fearful? And so you can lean into those feelings and figure out that sometimes it comes from a past experience and you realize that you've cut off your heart chakra. And so I feel that for a lot of you Libras, this month is a time when you can really lean into your heart and what it's saying. And I think for a lot of you, you're still a bit in pain. I think for a lot of you, you're maybe still a bit hurt by something in the past, maybe with somebody that you're with now, or maybe from something in the past. Maybe it was a family thing. But yeah, you're holding on to it. Four of Pentacles, you're holding on to a little bit of pain in your heart. And no matter how much the stars are saying, love, 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 positivity, energy, joy, vibrancy with that fifth house arena, there's some stuff coming up for you, and the reason that it's being provoked is so that you can heal it and so that you can let love in. Because then we have the world. That feeling that the world is your oyster, that feeling that a karmic cycle has completed itself, that feeling that you're out of the woods, that feeling that you've learned a lesson, that feeling that it's all starting to make sense and come together. And you may have news with that. There may be a communication in your life, Page of Swords, that, and this could also be somebody that you meet online, but there may be feelings of communication, openness, dialogue, and you're possibly feeling a bit overwhelmed or shut down by that. So the Death card, there is a feeling that you have to let a past pain go. You have to let something flow out of you. Lean into that energy, feel the pain. Some of you might feel very upset about the way things turned out with somebody, or the way things turned out with a certain project. Your creativity. The Five of Swords is in your positive position, so that to me would say that whatever has hurt you, whatever battle you've been in, you're going to start to be victorious, especially if it's in a work issue, because I get it now. I get it astrologically. The full moon in Virgo. That's your psychic sector. That's where your pain hides. That's your, that's a very, very intimate, very raw, vulnerable place. And when there's a full moon there, it is very vulnerable. And this full moon is actually connecting in harmony with your 8th house of intimacy. So when there is a psychological, very vulnerable, very raw full moon, and it has a harmonious alignment with your intimate sector, it's saying that this full moon is bringing up feelings to help you heal and maintain closer relationships. So for some of you, that could be with an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, a Capricorn. For others of you, you're really taking inventory of your past decisions in love. And I'm sorry that this is very much sounding about love, but it's just with so much in the 5th house, there is an opening of your heart chakra, Libra. So you really might feel like your heart is hurting at points, but it's actually hurting because it's opening. You're getting clarity. Ace of Swords, you're getting clarity, you're getting insight, you're getting downloads, and it's opening so that you can call in something that is worth your time, something that makes sense. Because if you don't have to be healed, by the way, you don't have to be completely healed, no psychological issues, no psychological itches. You don't have to be a completely healed person to have love, but you do have to be open to it. And you can't be open to it if you're really holding on to past hurts. You really can't. It's just not practical. If the door is shut, nobody's going to get in or out, and you're not going to let anything go either. So, Libra, we'll do an oracle card. Ooh, that one flipped out. Hostilities. I feel like there's some challenging energies this month. It's likely around the 17th. It's likely a connection to the Aquarian Taurus squares that are happening and will continue this year. There's a bit of hostility there for you, but there's also caring connections want to come in. There's closeness wanting to seek you out. Now, the hostilities in your life, the challenges are being pushed at you so that you can get very clear about what you think, what you feel, and maybe what's going on with you. If you're feeling like you're in a period of a lot of conflict, Libra, it's a good idea to journal. You know, I'm not even necessarily saying keep a dear diary kind of thing, but it's very good for you to get your thoughts clear and your emotions clear and figure out what it is that you're feeling, because the adjacent possibilities energy, I think for some of you, you can choose a path at the moment of healing or of confrontation. You can choose a path where you move to the next level, you upgrade with that world card, or you stay stuck. And the way to stay stuck is to feel like you're constantly engaging in petty squabbles or pushing people away or testing people. So, you know, even if that's coming from a place of hurt, it can be very hard for other people to recognize. You might actually have been very hurt yourself by someone who fears being hurt. And so when you step back from that and you have somewhat of a compassion, even if it's hard for somebody who can't love properly, someone who can't engage in that, you can feel compassion because they're being, you know, that's not a nice place for them to be either, even if they hurt you. So you can have compassion for both, and that can be very healing. Interesting, the guiding children card came up. With so much in the 5th house, I do feel that some of you may be, bodies of water. Some of you could actually be looking to work with children, maybe a swimming instructor for some of you. You could be looking to teach children, to guide children, to be a counsellor, to be in social work. Some of you could be changing the way you feel about children. Maybe you want to have them at this point in your life, or maybe you've realized you don't. Whatever it is, the butterfly transformation card, there's a lot of you that are going through deep change, and it's very healing. I'm also thinking because of the children card and the transformation, some of you are really working on your inner child. You're really working to figure out what your inner child wants, what your inner child needs, and I think this is going to be very healing for you. Spending time near the water is also going to be very healing for you, and it may also stop you engaging in confrontations that could be quite damaging. But I also feel like there's a sense that some conflicts this month are designed to unite people, and I know that sounds kind of counterproductive as a Libra, but I think you also understand, you know, Libra is the sign that is associated with justice, and justice is the scales, and in a court of law, in order to reach a decision, both sides have an opportunity to put their point forward, and in essence it is an argument, it's a debate, it's an argument, it's putting a point across to see what is the outcome. And so for a lot of you, you may feel kind of stuck in these repetitive arguments, but if used correctly, if leaned into and understood and directed with care, they can actually be incredibly healing for you. And I do feel like a lot of you are having some wounds come up that might make you want to push people away. They might make you want to isolate yourself, but you're coming into the next chapter with the World card. You're coming into a new phase, a new beginning, a new part of life. Ooh, there goes a card. Yes, of course, the play card. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So there is a lot of opportunities this month for fun, Libra. I'm going to clarify that World card again because I'm just fascinated, because I feel like this is a new chapter for Libra. The stellium and Aquarius, what does it mean? Queen of Cups, it could involve a water sign, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, or you could be going down a more creative profession. But I feel like that's a relationship, because there's you with the King of Swords. Some of you are going into a relationship with a water sign. Could be Sun, Moon, or Rising though. But I feel like they're looking towards each other because there's connection. And I think for a lot of you, what this month brings you could be a chance at love or reconnection with your partner. Could be somebody new. Could be somebody old with that Mercury retrograde. We don't know. But I feel like it's coming in, and it's evoking a pain in you, whatever this is. And you know, that can be creative too, because you can suddenly feel a lot of pain when you pick up a hobby believe it or not, because it can move some energy through your body. Even people that start exercise regimes, it also triggers this healing journey for you. And for some of you, that could be creativity, and it could provoke a sense of resentment at the self because you didn't keep these hobbies as a child. You know, it's something like that. You can feel like you let your child down. Whatever this pain is, Libra, you are coming out the other end of it. It's there to heal you, to open you up, to crack you open, and to bring in this new chapter, this new life, this new adventure, and let go for good of some of the things that have been holding you back, especially around the Virgo full moon at the end of the month. And as we move into the next month, I promise you there's more work energies, if that's what you're looking for. In the extended, we're going to go into this water sign, the air signs, the earth signs, clarify all the cards, get a more in-depth look, deeper into the astrology. And if you want to join me there, it's linked below. If not, Libra, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.